Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for our 21st meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. With all those who are willing and able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino?
Here.
Commissioner Young?
Here.
Commissioner Hermachek?
Here. Okay, I am going to have our fine young man here, Patrick. We're going to start the meeting off with an update. And you gave us some talking points, and you even sent us stuff in color, so this is all good stuff.
Perfect.
Care to introduce yourself and
Sure, thank you.
role in life and what you're doing for the county? That would be much appreciated.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Appreciate you all having me here today. My name is Patrick Mahorsic. I am the Director of Workforce Development for the Lake County Commissioners, as well as in that role, I am the Executive Director of the Lake County Workforce Development Board. So, been in this role for about a month now. I came over from the Lake County Port Authority, where I was the Economic Development Manager and managed our Business Retention Expansion Program. So, very excited, and we have a lot going on here this month as we adapt to different hiring practices and kind of recent events of the pandemic, and as we're trying to do everything with social distance, but also still serve our business community and their needs. The first thing I would like to talk about, Lake County will be hosting its first virtual job fair. It's called Ozone, a Lake County Virtual Career Fair, and it will be from June 22nd through June 26th. I want to talk exactly why that's a week long, so that can be confusing. But first, we have our goal is about 20 companies, and as in my notes I sent you, we had 19 registered. We actually had 20 yesterday, so we are very excited. And on the flyer provided in your packets is a list of all the companies attending, and so far we have about 21 job seekers signed up. That's just kind of a soft opening we did. Today we'll send the press release out and put all those flyers out and do all of our social media marketing. Today is our kickoff for that. And we also have News Channel 5 as our media sponsor. So they'll do a story on TV as well as on their website and help us promote it. The reason why it is a week long, we are working with Opline. Opline is a veteran-owned employee matching software. Initially, they were designed to help veterans reacclimate into civilian life, but they are also shifting, and they see a market opportunity in their business for virtual job fairs. So we are working with them. And the way it works is when an employer signs up, when it kicks off on the 22nd, employer signed up, job seekers are in it, they get pinged. It's like checking your email every day. And that the match has happened, and it actually does some filtering. So it does a pre-matching. So if you are a employer qualified, they already match you with, different people who are qualified for that position you're opening. So it's throughout the week, and then employers, if they want to move forward with a certain candidate, they go offline, however they want to do it, their hiring practices. If they're bringing people in for interviews, they can do that. If they do it via Zoom or any other way they want to do those hiring practices, they can do that. So we're very excited about that. We're keeping it a small group right now, just so we don't want the system breaking down. We don't want anything to happen, so we're keeping it, and it's only for manufacturing industry right now. So all the people are employers are manufacturing. So it's a small group, but we want to see a small sample size of what they're hiring for, how many positions are open, and things like that. Off of just the cuff of what we're looking at right now, we are looking at between 50 to 100 open positions right now with people registering depending how many they want to advertise for this. So it's a lot of still open jobs in our manufacturing sector. And we obviously want to support their efforts as they have been the backbone of the Lake County economy for so many years. So we are also exploring new ways to connect people to hiring opportunities outside of just our virtual job fairs and our job fair. But to give you just an update on how we've done placing people so far, before my time, Job and Family Services, along with Ohio Means Jobs, put together a very extensive marketing plan. This was using buses, TV, movie ads, and a couple other avenues that they have done to market it. And just before they launched that marketing plan, they had done about 80 what's called job matches with employers, people in the Job and Family Services system. After that marketing plan was launched in the first half of the current year, it went from 80 to 143 people. So it's almost doubled, which is great, and we're still looking at the second half of which we expect that number to be even higher. And we look at also our in-demand jobs, individual training agreements. That's when we use WIOA dollars to fund training. In the previous year, we were at $159,000. And after the marketing plan was over $300,000 were used for individual training agreements. We're very excited, and those are in industries like nursing, manufacturing, truck driving. So we're very excited, and we want to move forward in even going over $300,000 and continue that. With that, we are revisiting our marketing plan again. We are working on using LinkedIn as well as adjusting our website as well to make it more accessible for people to find out information about our services that we provide, as well as just more easier access to the job board through the state to filter in the opening jobs, and really revamping our LinkedIn, because that's where, when people are looking for jobs, that's where they go first. They're not using Facebook to look for a job. We have a very extensive Facebook page, which has been great. But a goal of mine is to use LinkedIn as a talent attraction opportunity, being able to use it to bring people into Lake County from the region and other regions as well, but also being able to individually contact people who are looking for jobs. LinkedIn has a way where you could search skills, you could search what people are doing and what certain jobs, and if they're even seeking it. So we have been going through meetings with LinkedIn's economic development team. I have a meeting Friday with them to look how we can use this, and it's very affordable. I'm talking very cheap to be able to use this. We would get an account manager and be able to use it to kind of very strategically target job seekers. So we're excited about that. Another way we are adapting to the new normal, it seems to be the biggest phrase in America right now, we applied for CDBG funds for 50 Chromebooks to rent out to job seekers to complete their 30 hours of required work activity. With libraries being closed and probably will have limited access for a little bit, and with our one-stop being appointment only, and also just they may not be comfortable coming in, job seekers, with what's going to happen. So we could rent out these Chromebooks where people can apply for jobs, do interviews online, build resumes, attend workshops. So we're applying for that because we think it'd be a great opportunity to be able to provide access to others without physically coming in. And we have a software, so let's say they don't get returned, we can shut it off or they can't use it for safety purposes as well.
Pat, Mr. President,
Please.
just a quick question. So on your community development block grant, that's a 2020 request?
It was through the coronavirus. Yes, it was through the coronavirus. The funds are made through coronavirus, I believe.
But not part of our,
The CDBG CV fund,
the special? Okay.
Yes.
So that was 19.
part of that
That was
122,000, I
Yes.
think we have.
Okay, good, perfect.
So it's through that. We put that application, I believe, early May, whenever the deadline was.
Available soon.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited about that. So that's just a quick rundown. Also, credit to Bob Dawson. Our Workforce Development Board was just recertified, so that was his work. So we're certified to the state. So we are very excited about that. But with all these programs, these employee-facing initiatives, along with the commissioner's business development loans that they just announced, this will give us a good two-pronged approach to enhance the Lake County economy and continue to get it back on track. So we're excited about that. And then one last thing, Behind me is Rachel Chapman. She is the Cleveland Foundation intern for the Lake County Port Authority. She started this week, and today she's shadowing myself and Matt, learning about all the things that we do. She'll be helping us with a lot of our workforce development initiatives as well. So, Rachel, just want to stand up and say hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Just a little bit about me. I go
Mind coming up to the microphone? Our viewing audience, I'm sure, would love to hear about you.
So I'm Rachel Chapman. I have an internship through the Cleveland Foundation that I applied for, and I got placed at Lake County Port Authority. I attend Bowling Green State University. I will be a senior this coming fall, and I go for inclusive early childhood education.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your service here in Lake County. We look forward to working with you.
Me too.
Thank you. And I'll be happy to answer any questions now about, I know I gave you guys a lot of information. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Patrick, I'm going to dive right in and say thank you. You know, this is something I've been trying to get going for quite a while. I know Commissioner Young's been really passionate about this. I would say you've taken this from what I would characterize as an okay, solid foundation. You passed right through good, and you're well on your way to great.
Thank you.
So, wow, that's talk about skipping steps in a good way.
Thank
so
you.
You've set the bar very high. It looks like you've hit all the key points that we wanted to see addressed. This is very exciting.
Thank you.
And even under difficult times, that's what's so comforting. Even under these difficult times, you're still hitting all those key points.
Thank you.
So that's high praise, and you've got a good crew and got a good intern to work with. So that's
Absolutely.
going to be important. My two colleagues here, Ron, I know this is something that's been near and dear to you since you took office.
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations. I think that what our board has accomplished, even just since I've been somewhat involved, not because of me, but because I've been sort of observing the processes and talking to you. I know one thing that you didn't mention that I think is important, especially, is the increase of the minimum threshold
Yes.
for income. I think it's been doubled basically over the last year or so, which of course qualifies many, many more people for these federal benefits for the
Absolutely.
job training programs. And I'm not sure how you accomplished that, but I think it was fantastic.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
that
ahead.
was Bob. I want to give credit where credit's due. Bob Dawson really piloted that and really was the force behind that. But there is something else I forgot to share. We are working with Google IT for a certification that'd be free. It would be once a week for 5 hours for 6 months to help you on coding. Maybe it's IT help desk. We see a lot of jobs for IT help desk here in Lake County. You can get a certification in that, and that'd actually be free, and it wouldn't be through WIOA, so there'd be no restrictions on that training. So
Wow.
people who wanted to come in, there's other certifications even within manufacturing we can choose from to kind of get that going. So that would actually be no restriction on WIOA. We would just administer it. So
So it's 5 hours a week for,
about 6 months, and it's also a kind of as you go type of thing as well. But I think that's where we talked with Lakeland, seeing if we can put a little class together, and people can go to the class or just do it on their own through their own computer. So we're looking at initiatives like that where maybe we don't necessarily have to go to WIOA for use their funds, and this way it's open to everyone. There's no threshold restriction on it. So we have been working. That's something we've been working. Other development boards have used this. So I'm talking, having meetings, looking at how they have implemented it and maybe how we can do that as well. So I forgot to share that, but I know we always talk about there's a threshold and kind of restrict some things. So I've been looking at maybe training programs we can administer without worrying about a threshold.
there's so much available now, isn't there? And
Absolutely.
somehow we just need to get the word out
Mm-hmm.
to the folks in Lake County. But I'm not sure who we'd approach on that. But,
That would be the look at our media representative.
at any rate, keep up a good work.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking the request to prowl for targets of opportunity. That sounds like one.
Absolutely.
So well done.
Yep, I just, before I leave, I'd like to thank Matt and the rest of his team, for Leslie Ryan, for onboarding me. It's been a very seamless process, as well as Joel DeMar. I know we all like to give him a hard time, but he's been
Which is fine.
but Joe has been very good about onboarding and kind of letting me kind of run with certain things. And, everyone here is getting me on board with the Riello budget, and over at JFS, and Leslie, Corey, and Bob Dawson as well. So thank you.
And you're right, Bob Dawson, where credit is due. He was that solid foundation, still is. He's of counsel to you. He's,
Yes, so Bob has
what's
stated.
his new role, if you want to get that on the record?
So Bob is staying on, helping the transition for about 2 years as a special projects manager. So he's actually working on a pre-apprenticeship policy for us right now. So that's been really good, and he's been, any question I have, Bob, I call Bob maybe, too much for his.
President.
Sir.
Excuse me. Bob is a hard act to follow, certainly, but the last month is any indication, you will do just fine.
Thank you.
We had a chance to get to know Patrick. We drove to Columbus. I forget
Yes.
what we drove there for. It was
The
press conference?
Yeah, for the Ohio Clean Energy Jobs Alliance.
Okay, right. And we had a chance to spend the whole day in the car back and forth. And within the first 5 minutes of my picking you up on Wilson Mills, I think, I discovered that I am exactly 3 times his age, which was he was happy to point out to me. That sort of set the tone for the rest of the trip to Columbus very early. But you're very energetic. I think you're going to have having Bob as a resource for the transition is going to be very, very helpful for you. Again, as you mentioned at the beginning, these are the new normal, interesting times, unprecedented times. Everybody's using
all the phrases.
those phrases, right? The fact of the matter is that from an employment standpoint and workforce development and utilization, there's no playbook for what we're experiencing right now and will experience in the next couple of years. So it's really going to mean that the task is way more complex than it ever was.
Yep.
And I think your experience and energy are going to be very helpful in helping us address those needs.
Thank you.
Very good. Jason, did you want to add anything? We've been giving credit to everybody. I want to say, I know you were instrumental in making sure that the commissioners' needs, wants, and desires got addressed. Anything you want to add to the conversation?
No, I think Matt and Patrick and their team are well equipped for the job, and I'm looking forward to working with them and you guys in the future. So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Patrick, thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for coming today. You're welcome to stay for the meeting if you like.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We
It will be exciting.
Oh, we do our best. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you care to go right into our
Absolutely.
resolutions?
Yes. In the engineer's office, we have a resolution awarding a bid contract to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the LAK Bennett Road CR05 resurfacing project in Madison Township, Ohio, as required by the Lake County Engineer in the amount of $2,179,429.70. Federal aid project number FAN E190613, PID number 105936, LCE project number 2018-18.
And I'd like to jump in and make the motion to adopt that one.
Seconded?
And under discussion, I'm going to say credit to our engineer and the efforts of this board. Promises made, promises kept. This is one of those projects that's long overdue and getting caught up in 2.5 years. Again, that's unprecedented. So, any further discussion?
No, sir.
Very good. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In Utilities Departments, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within the Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund and Project Fund 595, Hewlett and Jennison Waterline Replacement Project 434W.
Move for adoption? Sorry.
And discussion. Randy, do you want to give us a little bit of history and the background on that one?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner. This is part of our 2021 construction capital improvement plan. So we designed these in 2020. This resolution is setting up the account so we can enter into a contract with our consultant to begin design this year and then construct next year.
Very good.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within the Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund and Project Fund 595 Mantle Road Waterline Replacement.
Adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution awarding bid contracts to Arms Trucking Company for sand for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion. Randy, come on, you got to explain the sand one now. This one.
Of course, thank you, Commissioner. This is something that we do annually. It's, we bid out this, and the next couple of resolutions are we're entering into contracts with suppliers to provide sand, stone, different waterline materials for repairs. And we feel that we get the best price by doing this in a competitive bid annually, and then we can just order off of that list, off of their bid price for the year, as opposed to trying to get bids every time we go out or quotes every time we go out to get a different part.
Projects.
Right. So.
Excellent. Thank you for that background. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution awarding bid contract to Osborne Concrete and Stone Company for limestone for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to Core and Main LP for fittings, repair parts, service equipment, and tools, Exhibit A, for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to Wind Supply of Cleveland for fittings, repair parts, service equipment, and tools, Exhibit B, for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young? Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, energized community grants.
Move to adopt?
Second. And discussion. Jason, did you want to give a little background on that?
Yeah, Commissioners, we annually get a small grant from NOPEC as a member community in the range of $1,500 to $2,000 for local community events. This year, we'll use the grant to assist with our complete counts committee, Mr. Hammercheck, that you're involved with. Part of the recipient of funds is to pass a resolution and then upload it to their website. This will take care of that obligation. Thank you.
Very good. And you did mention the Complete Count Committee. These funds are outside tax dollars, but they are being used to bring Lake County's fair share back to Lake County. So we are trying to leverage and maximize. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution reappointing Maggie Barth to the Lake County Public Defender Commission for a 4-year term expiring June 30th, 2024.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Bless you. Resolution reappointing Steve Valenga to the Lake County Public Defenders Commission for a 4-year term expiring June 30th, 2024.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $966,870.64.
Move to adopt? I'll second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $541,734.33.
Move to adopt?
Second.
And discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations with the general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
In special resolutions, resolution proclaiming June 2020 Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And discussion. Madam Clerk, would you care to read that proclamation?
I don't believe I have a copy of it.
Oh, then I guess that one shall fall upon me then. Let's see, we have Lake County Board of Commissioners resolution, sorry about that, June 4, 2020, proclaiming June 2020 Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in Lake County, Ohio. Whereas this year, approximately 191,930 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States, and roughly 33,330 will die this year from the disease. And whereas in Ohio, an estimated 7,030 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed, an estimated 1,200 deaths will occur in 2020. Whereas men with relatives, fathers, brothers, sons, with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. And whereas prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in American men, behind only lung cancer. Whereas men who served in the military, who have been exposed to chemicals and herbicides, are at risk for developing prostate cancer. And whereas 1 in 9 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime, African American men are at the highest risk for the disease, with a rate of 1 in 6 and 2.2 times more likely to die from the disease. Whereas education regarding prostate cancer and early detection strategies is critical to saving lives and preserving and protecting our families. The economic and social hardship it has on families is huge. Prostate cancer is estimated to cost over $8 billion in direct medical expenses. Whereas nearly 3.1 million men in the United States are living with prostate cancer diagnoses, that number is estimated to climb by 4 million by 2024 as men in their baby boomer generation age. And we go into the obligatory now, therefore, the Board of Lake County Commissioners in and for Lake County hereby proclaims June 20th, 2020 Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourages the citizens of Lake County, Ohio to increase their awareness and recognize the importance of prostate screening. Okay, how's that?
Beautifully done.
All right, with that, I believe any further discussion?
No.
So we have a motion and a second, and roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes, very good. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting, utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just wanted to announce that we are having our household hazardous waste collection this Saturday at the fairgrounds from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The only kind of modification that we're doing this year, as opposed to other years, is anything that needs to be dropped off needs to be in the trunk of the car, or on a trailer, or in the back of a pickup truck. Anything in the back seat of a car will not be accepted. We're asking people to stay in their cars. That's typical for this collection, and we will remove the items and dispose of them properly.
Okay, and that's basically to protect our crew and those visiting the sites to take advantage
Exactly.
that whole social distancing.
Exactly.
And you're not going to give us an update on the Willoughby project? That one, we got a nice piece in the
Yeah.
paper there.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, the Willoughby project wrapped up Monday. I think we took the barrels off, and the lights were working. It looks beautiful down there. It looks like a postcard. Somebody sent me a picture, and that's what it looked like to me. Yeah, it was a project went very well. There's still some punch list items, some cleanup items, that sort of thing to do down there, but full traffic is open now, both directions. Parking and all that is all open, so we're happy to get that completed. It's an important project for our department, and I think for the city of Willoughby also. So.
Well, you're not real good at promoting yourself here now. Let's do a little bit of a dive. That was a very complex project, entered into at a very difficult time, and we had some challenges with our contractor that you worked through, I'm going to say in hours, not days. And even in the middle of a pandemic and challenges with businesses, traffic was maintained. It was rough, but you guys did a good job, and things just got done.
Yeah, it went very smoothly. Credit to our field guys, our inspectors out there, did a great job and really coordinating, making sure everything got done that needed to get done and installed properly. And we're actually ahead of schedule by a few days. And yeah, it went very well for how complicated it was. The sewer, or the water line we were replacing is from the 20s. One of them was from the 20s and the other is from the 50s. So now we've got a brand new water line in there to hopefully last for the next 75 or 100 years, and we won't have to touch it. But there were, unique challenges there because of there were really no records of where a lot of those service connections were and those sort of things. But our guys did a great job with that.
Indeed, and I'll just continue to toot your horn here. This type of project usually doesn't go very well, and other areas, but Lake County Department of Utilities holds a very high standard, and it shows the deliverables, your work that you did with the engineering, your relationship with the city of Willoughby. I think that needs to be mentioned. You work very closely with Willoughby. You want to expand on that just a little bit?
Sure.
I hate putting you on the spot. Yeah, right.
Yeah, as best we can. We did a lot on this project of pre-construction communication with the businesses down there, with the mayor's office, just to make sure everybody was aware what was going to happen, and I guess aware it was going to be somewhat painful. Through construction, it always is, but especially on a project like this where there's so many businesses and so many close quarters that we need to try to accommodate to make sure that they still can stay in business and still operate. Like you said, it was a unique situation this year when things got shut down a little bit, but we moved forward and able to get it completed.
Very good. Commissioner Serino.
Mr. President and Randy, I spend a lot of time going through downtown Willoughby, and it's going to be nice to be able to go directly into the post office instead of around the corner. But it does look great, and you got an unexpected, unfortunate assist by bars and restaurants having to close for 2.5 months, which otherwise would have been a little more painful to them, or painful in a different way. But it looks great. The people I've talked with in Willoughby, including the mayor, are really very positive in how the project was managed, how it went, and how it turned out. And they're looking forward to a summertime of special events downtown to be able to get people out of their homes and enjoy what I think is an iconic downtown area in downtown Willoughby. So great job.
It is, thank you. And even before the pandemic hit, we got some great cooperation from all the bar owners. They knew it was going to be, and restaurant owners and businesses down there, they knew it was going to be a struggle, but understood that there was a project that had to be done, and we tried to time it with their busy season, and so we did the best to accommodate all the way along. But we got a lot of cooperation from everybody down there. Really appreciate that.
Excellent. Commissioner Young.
Yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate the respect and the willingness to accommodate our business sector in Lake County. Without a strong, vibrant business sector, we just can't operate. Social services would collapse, our schools, police, fire, everything is dependent upon those revenues. So it's good that I think your department really realizes that and shows great respect for people everywhere, and especially the business sector, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on. Job and Family Services. Matt. The man behind the mask.
Just want to give you a quick update on what's happening at Job and Family Services past couple months. We still are predominantly working remotely. We are open to the public by appointment for certain programs. The amount of persons applying for public assistance, in particular cash assistance, food assistance, and Medicaid, has increased significantly, as you can imagine. Hopefully, now that businesses are opening again, those numbers will decrease. But even with that significant increase in applications, we're able to keep up with them working remotely. We have reports and other ways to check to make sure that we're meeting our goals, and we have been. A program that I'm not sure the commissioners are aware of that the state has initiated is with realizing that many children rely on meals from schools, and with the schools being closed, the state initiated a program where any family that was eligible for reduced or free meals at school will receive a food assistance card, a food stamp, EBT card it's called, and it'll be preloaded with $300 per child in the family. And those cards have been sent out last week and this week to every family in the state that was eligible. That includes if they were already receiving food assistance, they'll get a separate card for each child in the family, and the amount will average around $300. But even for those families that have not been receiving food assistance but were eligible for the free or reduced meals, they'll get a card also. The state collaborated with the education to get all of the names of all of those families that were eligible for the free or reduced meals. So even if they weren't receiving food assistance, they'll still receive that card, again, for approximately $300 per child in the family, that they can use at the grocery store to purchase food. This is a one-time allotment, but it is a way for the state to acknowledge that kids may have missed some meals, and this is a way for parents to make sure that they have the nutrition that they need.
I'm glad you brought that program up. The County Commissioners Association, CCO, they had given some guidance on that earlier. But one of the things that, and I hope this is the case, the restrictions on the use of the cards. They said they believe that there are restrictions, but they weren't specific. So you get a card for purchasing food.
Right.
You're not going to be able to buy alcohol, tobacco products.
They'll have the exact same limitations or restrictions that are currently in place for any person that's eligible for food assistance. And that means it's for purchasing food. They cannot use it for paper products, toiletries, cigarettes, alcohol, so forth. And obviously the grocery stores are aware of that because they've always accepted the food assistance cards. So they'll look the same as the cards that people have been using, and so with those same restrictions in place. A couple of restrictions that were lifted, not in terms of what you can purchase, but previously you weren't allowed to purchase prepared meals, and now you're, for a time-limited amount of time, you are allowed to purchase prepared meals. And previously you weren't allowed to order and pick up, and now they're allowing you to order and pick up, and I don't know how they're working that out, but you can, using your what's called the EBT card.
Excellent.
Makes sense since people have been encouraged to
Absolutely.
do takeout, so.
The other thing I wanted to mention real quickly is that I meant to mention is some school districts are in a position where the whole school district is eligible for free and reduced meals because of the percentage that are eligible. And so in those situations, every family in that school district will receive the EBT card.
So the means testing was satisfied by the district average, the district qualification?
Right, and that's always been in place. It's, that if a certain percentage of families in that school district meet the criteria for free or reduced meals at school, then the whole district is eligible.
Excellent. No, thank you for the details on those entitlement programs. Anything else you care to add?
Just real quick, as Patrick said, he started about 3 weeks ago, came in with a lot of energy, and we love that, has some great ideas, and looking forward to continue to work with him and the team at Job and Family Services.
Excellent. No, thank you. Gentlemen, anything you care to add?
No, sir?
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Yeah, just briefly, Commissioners, a friendly reminder that the county buildings, for the most part, are open to the public, exceptions being, as Mr. Badiato indicated, Job and Family Services. And up until June 15th, our building department as we finalize our software transition. But we are open through the main entrance at 105 Main Street. Secondly, just, lost in all the COVID work is some things that the commissioners have been participating in. Just a brief update on the Coastal Special Improvement District that the mayors and managers are working on for their landowners in Lake County. Myself and Mike Matus have been participating in these calls. Essentially, it's an assessment project for landowners to assist in erosion control measures for their homes on a 20-year payback, if you will, to assist with the record high lake levels that we're having on Lake Erie. So continue to participate in that endeavor. And if this succeeds, it'll be one of the first coastal SIDs, if not on the Great Lakes in the United States. So it's a pretty exciting project. That concludes my report.
Now, Jason, on that, Sid, now one of the key elements is there needs to be at least one parcel in each community in order to have it to be one continuous SID?
Yes. Yep. I think we've met that test with all the 13 coastal communities. And we'll be having a meeting with all coastal communities here in the next couple of weeks. We have pre-application forms, kind of a white paper that'll go out for folks who may have additional questions.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Anything for the administrator?
Nope.
Very good. Okay, I will mention finance. We, the Board of Commissioners, have put a request out to our department heads and fellow elected officials to take a good hard look at reducing their budgets by 5%. We're hoping to have all those plans back by tomorrow. That was the day that we had asked for. Several departments have already responded, so we're getting some good buy-in and participation. We do have a good team effort, so hopefully we'll get the last ones in tomorrow. Moving on, Madam Clerk, do you have a report for us today?
Well, our next meeting is next Thursday, July 11th at 10 a.m. And thank you, Randy, for finishing that project, because I drive back and forth through there every day. It looks beautiful.
Teamwork, beautiful thing. Oh, thank you. All right, legal. Do you have a report, sir?
No reports, Commissioner.
And he says that with such authority. Thank you. All righty then. So this brings us to our old business portion of the meeting. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, moving on to new business. Do we have new business? Sir.
Mr. President, thank you. I just want to make sort of an editorial comment. It's not sometimes until you see how things are done elsewhere that you necessarily appreciate what is going on in your own backyard. And unless one has been living under a rock for the last several weeks, we've witnessed some just horrific things going on in our country, and we all care deeply, I know, about the health of our country and the welfare of our country. And I know today is I believe it's the funeral for the gentleman who passed away as a result of the inappropriate activity by the police in Minneapolis. And so we certainly have our prayers go out to his family for their loss. But I think the interesting thing to point out is that when you look at outside of Ohio, you look at some of the, in my opinion, just horrendous leadership or lack of leadership on the part of mayors and governors and other officials that we really who have not protected the health and safety of people in businesses and so on, and who have over many decades, in fact, allowed many of their cities to pursue policies that were not in the best interest of the community. Here in Lake County, we are blessed. We have a very diverse county from east to west and north and south. We have, in my opinion, outstanding mayors, city managers, trustees, council members, great law enforcement, both at the city level and at the sheriff's department, prosecutors, our great judges, and the legislators who represent us in both houses in Columbus, as well as our Congressman Dave Joyce, who represents this district. And we have, I'm sure we're, and I like to think that the commissioners would be included in that group, but we'll let others make that determination. But I think that we really just need to point out that in Lake County we are blessed with, I believe, responsible leadership at both ends of the spectrum It's bipartisan because we all believe together that we need to take the best talents that we have and to work hard for what is the best for our community, to keep our community safe, to make changes when necessary in policies, and to make sure that the will of the people is listened to on a regular basis, and that we are all of us officials held accountable for policies that we support and do. So I just want to make that comment because I think the people of Lake County, when they look around the country, I hope they will look at Lake County and see that we have it pretty good here, and that it is a place that is safe to raise a family, and that hopefully we can get the economy back up running here again post-COVID, and we're all working very hard to make that happen. So just some kudos to all of the officials in and around Lake County. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well said, sir. Commissioner Young.
Yeah, I would like to follow up on that. Jerry inspired me here. I mean that. Just looking at Lake County's situation, I'm really impressed by the leadership. That's certain. I think that's true. Everyone here works together extraordinarily well as a team as well. You could see during the COVID, during the epidemic, our health officials, law enforcement, business community, everybody really pulled together to do what had to be done to help begin to get people back to work again and keep them safe. And then during the demonstration the other day on the square, the folks who conducted the demonstration gave their word, the protest, they gave their word there'd be no violence, everything under control, everything safe, and they got their message across at the same time, which is a critically important message that I think we all have to take seriously, very seriously. But I think the people of Lake County are special as well. And I want to send this message out to northeastern Ohio and beyond that Lake County is open for business. You know, we have huge numbers of jobs here available, professional level positions that need to be filled. We have good, safe schools, good, safe neighborhoods. Lake County is where it's happening. So I hope we can get that message out throughout northeastern Ohio and beyond, that we want some more good people here in Lake County.
Yes.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Just add to that.
Commissioner Sereno, yes,
Yes,
sir.
I'm sorry. Just one thought. Commissioner Young inspired me. That, I meant to mention before that, when we talk about this, examples of very poor leadership and meeting responsibilities outside of the state of Ohio, in probably 38 to 40 cities now that we've been watching on the news. A lot of these same leaders who were ready to throw people in jail and arrest them for going to church services because of distancing issues and so on, were apparently willing to just watch property be destroyed and large gatherings without any social distancing going on. I just find that a bit of a contradiction. And that, again, is an example when I talk about poor leadership. The First Amendment guarantees your right to protest, certainly peacefully, but that same amendment also guarantees your right to worship. And some of these leaders took a different view of both of those respectively, and I found that to be appalling and unconstitutional, and we'll see how this all fleshes out at the end of the day. Thank you, Mr. President.
Indeed.
Great point.
Jason, I believe you have a public comment to add under new business.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. We have a public comment submitted by Mr. David Lima. I'll read for the record. It's a little bit longer than the previous week, so bear with me. The death of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer is a horrific reminder of what has been happening for hundreds of years in our country. Brown and Black Americans disproportionately victimized by state-sanctioned violence. Law enforcement officers have largely been shielded from liability due to the decisions of the Supreme Court in Graham v. Connor and Tennessee v. Garner. Officers are keenly aware of the implications of these protective decisions. A grand jury indictment holding officers liable for causing death in the course of carrying out their duties is highly unlikely. We will see this kind of behavior over and over again unless our state legislators enact a criminal statute that would make it a crime for law enforcement officers to violate their department's use of force policy, and in the course of doing so, cause death or serious injury. It's time for our state legislatures to face this issue and act. Enacting such a law would place greater responsibility on individual officers and promote needed cultural change within our law enforcement agencies. Until such state level action becomes a part of the legal landscape, officers will remain largely immune from liability. End of public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and as long as we're sort of in that new business area, I will also add that over the weekend, Jason, you were my right hand. I was able to communicate with our sheriff and other activities going through our emergency operations center with you. You kept my colleagues informed. You did a fantastic job, and I think that needs to be mentioned. I would also like to just say there is a reason why Lake County is looked at as a bellwether. There are examples of how things can be done right. The situation that occurred in Cleveland got out of hand very quickly. Our Sheriff Liam Bruno, was very proactive. He reached out to the chiefs of police throughout Lake County, held a unified meeting, discussed what-ifs, sent an appropriate contingent for reserve purposes to Cuyahoga County, but maintained resources here in Lake County, which were very appropriately brought to bear on Monday. Our local youth said that they were going to have a peaceful demonstration, and they did. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Our law enforcement and our civilian leadership was respectful of that and honored the activity. It went very well. I will tell you some of the things that went on behind the scenes. I did take the liberty of contacting Bishop Maribel as an example of one of the community leaders on the faith side, also several other leaders on the minority side, invited them to our building. Bishop Maribel and I actually had a prayer here right on the 5th floor looking out over the square, praying for peace. Shortly after that, Bishop Maribel felt called to go down to the square, where he talked to the youth, and they did a prayer together for peace, which was achieved. The leaders were not just seniors like ourselves. We actually had some youth involved. One of the young men who came up is actually a candidate in the FBI Academy, who is back in town because the FBI Academy with other training programs are suspended right now because of the COVID-19 situation. But I was very pleased to be able to take them behind the scenes to see what was going on so that they could testify as to the effectiveness and capabilities here in Lake County, but also to the professionalism of our law enforcement officials. They saw everything from staging areas to our drone activities that were actually taking place from the roof of this building. There were many things that they got to see that they can testify to, if you will, to the greater community and see the support and the professionalism. Painesville City's Chief Waterman, I have to say, in addition to the professionalism of Chief Liam Bruno, Chief Waterman, plain clothes, unarmed, walking among the people, very impressive. He and Bishop Maribel were a tremendous influence in a positive way. Chief Waterman presented with an open hand. And if I can make an effort to quote him, when you meet people with an open hand, you get an open hand back. When you meet people with a closed hand, you get a fist back. We met people with an open hand, and we showed our young people that we in government do trust them as we are asking them to trust us. And trust is something that is earned, not given. And I dare say that Monday was a good example of earning trust between government and our community. And with that, I see we have a request for an executive session regarding legal imminent court action. So do we have a motion to adjourn into executive session? I believe there'll be no further business to be conducted afterwards.
So move. Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes. Okay, we'll be moving into an executive session here shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.